Hi, welcome everyone to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent. Today, I have a very special guest, Shaquanna Chappelle. She's going to introduce herself in just a moment. So today, we're going to be talking about something very interesting, literally how to command the room, any room that you enter, how to take over that room with your presence, your energy, your confidence, and how you can learn more of this by coming to the Nurses Making Money Moves Conference in Tampa, Florida. And she will be speaking there live and in the flesh. So if you want more of this, you need to come join us in Tampa, March 6th and 7th. So thank you so much, Shaquanna, for joining us. Tell the people hello and what you do.
Yes, thank you, Farah, for having me. I am so excited about Tampa. You have no idea, but I know we'll get into that in a minute. But hey, everyone, my name is Shaquanna Chappelle. I'm an executive presence consultant, an author, and a wardrobe stylist, also a speaker as well. And if I had to encompass everything of who I am into one thing, I just feel strongly about women showing up with confidence, showing up with authority, showing up within their authentic selves, right? And showing up with that power. Because I know for me, once I removed some of those insecurities and self-limiting thoughts and beliefs about myself, that's when I began to really see myself in the way that God created me, in the image that he wanted me to be. So I am just super excited to help women transform their confidence, elevate their confidence within their careers and their business, right? So, like we said, how to command that room, how to do it in a way that's authentic to you, not trying to be someone else, how to dress for not just your current level, but the next level where you see yourself going, and things like that. So, I'm just all around just one of the people that's always going to root for you to have confidence, to show up with power, and just be successful in your own right.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So, for anybody that's watching, we're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. For those just joining, please let me know who you are in the chat, where you're watching from, any questions that you might have about, the topic that we're talking about today, which is how to command a room with confidence, right? And how to step into that confidence, because many, 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 many people in general, and also nurses and just women in general, whether in business or in their career, we know struggle with confidence, right? And it's not just confidence of, how we look image wise, but also, in terms of like self-worth, value, the imposter syndrome. I don't even like using that word, but how that creeps in. You talked about that. So really, it's like, I think being comfortable in your own skin and really how to own that and how that translates to when you actually walk into a room. So if you can just briefly talk about, because we know I'm a career coach and also a business mentor, and obviously the host of the business Nurses Making Money Moves Conference, formerly, but now Nurses Making Business Moves Conference. I know what it takes, to put on events, go into boardrooms, be a speaker, but all this stuff really starts within, right? So if you can speak a little bit to that, and how people can start doing the work within, so that when they do show up in these rooms, they can start commanding the room.
Yeah, because the truth about it is oftentimes we are walking into rooms or spaces where we're the only ones that look like us, if we want to be real. So I feel like that plays a lot on our confidence. But yeah, to your point, what's inside of us and how we exude that confidence, that's the first step. And that's one of the things that I take my clients through when we first initially work together. It's uncovering some of the layers of insecurities that you may have picked up on throughout life, right? We're not born with no confidence. It's just life experience that tend to tear that down time after time or whatever. So we do some deep work. This isn't just, oh, I'm going to give you some strategy, some blanket strategy. You go, no, let's uncover some things. Let's figure out, sis, why do you feel this way about yourself? what happened in your life that has led you to uh act this way, even professionally, right? So we uncover those things, we identify what are your core values, what matters to you, and what you'll find is a lot of those life experiences create or mold what your values are in life. And that's the key part is not just showing up with confidence, but being authentic with that too as well. And that authenticity comes from knowing your core values. So we do that. And then I also help with providing strategies on how to believe in yourself. So doing little small quirky things, I think, help to build your confidence muscle. So one of my favorite things is I get my clients to try something new, to step outside their comfort zone, step outside their normal routine and their script on their day-to-day lives, and do something new. It could be as simple as trying a new recipe or taking another route home for work or whatever, right? But all those little small things help build your confident muscle. That's just a quick example, top of mind example, but we really dig deep to say, okay, how can we believe in ourselves wholeheartedly in a way where no one can stop us? We have that unstoppable, unshakable confidence. So it does require some inner soul work. It requires
Yep.
you to be vulnerable. It requires you to be honest and transparent with yourself. And that's the hardest. If I'm going to be real, that's the hardest. When
Yeah.
when we have to put a mirror in front of ourselves and dig deep, that it is hard. I'm in therapy. I get it. It's hard. But the
Yeah.
results you get at the end is like, okay, now I feel more secure. Now, how do we move with the strategy of being a confident leader, having that executive presence so you could really command the room?
Yeah. Yeah. So that, there's a lot there that we can talk about. And I think, you mentioned something that really stuck with me. And I talk about this all the time too, right? Like children. Most children, right, in their early ages, um, always will say what's on their mind. And they're pretty true to themselves. They're very comfortable in their own skin, right? And I think this probably happens around the age of like 2 or 3, right? When they can actually start expressing and communicating, actually speaking. But I think as parents, and just society in general, we start putting these restrictions on kids and saying, hey, you can't behave this way, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I think that's when it's almost like, I'm not a therapist, right? But it's almost like they start internalizing, and it's like it becomes shameful, right? And then it's that as we grow up, we get a lot of self-esteem issues, obviously in our teenage years, and when we're looking at image and what we do, who we are, our identity, and that type of stuff. And really, when we think about confidence, or when we say presence, a lot of people think it's more the outside. And then we're like, hey, like, how come that person is so confident and like, as public speaking? Because I know that's like a big fear for a lot of people, right? But it all, like you said, starts with the inner work. So let's say step one, you do the inner work, you realize maybe where some of these past traumas or what have led you to become self-conscious or have low self-esteem. You start working on that. What's the next phase to get more confident as you step into these rooms so that you can really command the room, right? What's
Yeah.
phase 2, would you say?
Yeah, definitely phase two. And which, side note, because you mentioned the children part, it reminded me as a new mom, like I'm like, oh, parenting is just a whole struggle in its own. But I'm like, oh, I gotta remember to like not like I just want to raise a confident, girl or whatever.
Yes,
So
yes.
you kind of like triggered my mom brain just there. But anyway,
Yeah,
yes, phase two. So I will say this first. I always tell people, my clients, anyone, confidence is a journey, not a destination. So even though we may unlock some new level of confidence, it doesn't end there. As you continue
right.
to grow and evolve, you'll have to go back to some of those tools to rebuild that confidence at that new level. But to answer your question, after that, after doing that inner soul work, there is a lot of value in understanding how you are actually perceived, especially in your career. A lot
Yeah.
of times we have, and almost every woman that I meet, how they perceive themselves, how they think they are, is way different than how they're perceived. I remember I was doing a conference last year, and this one woman, she had like RBF, like straight up, she was not approachable at all. And but she still had gave like a little bit of confidence. And someone I
Yeah.
did an exercise with them, and someone was like, "Oh my God, you seem so confident, so strong." And she was like, "I don't feel like that inside." And
Okay.
so her realizing that just really opened up doors and perspectives for her. So phase two, where I take my clients through an exercise of asking people, "How do you perceive me professionally?
Yes.
What do you think about me?" Those types of things is so important. And I know that we're technically not supposed to care what other people think of us, but if you want to grow professionally, if you want to grow in your business, that
Yes.
matters, because how people form an opinion about you within those first few encounters, that can determine your next paycheck, that could determine your next role. Like, you don't know. So
Yes. The promotion, whatever, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's important to do that work. And then the final step that I take my clients through is the communication part, the body language, the wardrobe styling. Wardrobe styling is what I do
Yeah.
when I first started my business. So that's the icing on the cake, that wardrobe styling piece. I know a lot of women are like, "Oh, I want to dress cute." Well, wait a minute. Let's work on that confidence first, sis. But that's the next step, is after we do that inner work. Okay, what about the external factors? Let's
Yeah.
think about that.
So I love that. I want to pause there for a moment. So if anyone's listening, let me know if you have any comments, questions, drop them in the chat. And again, if you're just joining us, we are talking about how you can command a room, really any room that you step into, whether it's a boardroom, whether you're a nurse stepping into a room, especially for all the new graduate nurses, just graduating, you're stepping into a room, you have to speak to patients, families, or you have to speak to physicians or the whole team, or you're starting a new business, you're a speaker, whatever it is, how to really command a room. And we talked about first phase is really doing the inner work so that you feel comfortable in your own skin. And then phase two, you touched upon a couple of things about, we talked about owning your values as well. But when you said the perception of how you're perceived by many, right? It's not just like one or two people. You have to get a good survey and ask very many people. So I wouldn't just ask friends or family members. I would also ask, maybe some strangers that you run into frequently. Like, let's say you go to Starbucks, I don't know, and you order your coffee at that place all the time. Just ask them a couple of questions. People at work or people in business, like get a wide variety. I would say, in research, especially nursing and in research, we always say like a sample of 30 people is typically a pretty good sample, right? So if you ask 30 people and you see a lot of themes of, what's coming up, then you're probably not putting out there what you really want to put out there. So that's when you can start managing it. And then this is also part of personal branding, is what I like to call, because you're also shaping your personal brand, which is that perception, that reputation. So you want to make sure, like Shaquanna said, you want to set your foundational values so that you know how to show up, demonstrate, and every interaction that you're staying true to that. Obviously, we're all human, and sometimes we have trouble with emotional intelligence and managing our emotions, but for the most part, right? So that's the other thing. How do you want to be perceived, and how are you managing that personal brand?
Yeah, and I would just say, just to kind of piggyback with what you just said, also too, when and I think it's very strategic to set it up in a way where you do that inner work to discover why you're a certain way, why you feel that so strongly about a certain value, where this new level of confidence is coming from, etc. The goal is to make sure you stand firm in that and you don't fold on this new level of confidence, right? Because what may happen is, as you're asking these people, if you're not fully confident, you're like, "Oh my gosh, they think that about me." You start
Yeah,
questioning.
overthinking too
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So the thing is to be so secure about yourself that you get this feedback from these people, and then you decide based on how you feel what changes you want to make. Because some things I'm like, oh, I talk like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, that's who I am. I'm gonna keep that. But then there's other things you're like, man, that it's all about that self-awareness.
Yeah, and that insight. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And then the other thing too is, the third piece that you talked about, because I do a lot of career coaching with nurses, particularly new graduate nurses. And, I literally was doing a webinar yesterday with them. And also I'm going to be doing a webinar right after this for aspiring nurse entrepreneurs and nurses who are in business. So if you didn't get the link, email me if you want to get into this webinar, FarrahLaurent1@gmail. I'm going to plug it in. So basically, I tell them, hey, listen, if you want the job, you want this, job interview, these people don't know you.
Right.
But before you even open your mouth, right? The first impression, right? And like I, a lot of times, was guilty of this early on in my career. I would show up looking like everybody else, right? Like, because you think professional is wearing an all black suit or something like that.
Right.
So my clients know me. I'm like, you're not going to wear black, and I love black, but you're not going to wear black. You're not going to wear navy blue, and you're not going to wear gray. You're not going to look like everyone else, right? You want to literally stand out and look fresh to death, right? Like dripping in confidence. And we say, like, when you look good, you feel good, you do better, right? So like I even tell them, like, I'm not really good at doing makeup, but I will tell all the ladies that I work with, like, go get a makeup artist, let them do your makeup, get your hair done, because research proves that actually you get paid more the better you look.
It's the facts. And I know people don't like to hear that, but we got to be real.
Right. And think about when someone enters a room, right? If you're attractive, you look good, you smell good, your clothing, like you look different than, how you go to an event and they're like, what should I wear? Right? Like, what are people wearing? Right? And, obviously, you can't show up in like a gown if it's like, there has to be a little bit of appropriateness, but like, I'm just saying, like, bring a little bit of personality to your stuff, because like some people are like, oh, can I wear these earrings, or can I do? Yeah, spice it up a little bit. Like, get a little bit of your personality.
Right. I love that you said personality, because that's what I was going to say. Do what feels authentic to you. Like, I love your coral orange, your bold earrings, your pink nails, because you have that bold personality, and that is you. And so you want to do what is more authentic to you, because that's how people get their first opinion. Like, ooh, she must be very vibrant. She must be very fun, which you are. You're right. And so that's what, and then you just never know what may happen after that. That's when networking starts, and you generate conversations and you build connections. And we all know what happens when you have those key connections in your network. So you want to think long term. We're not talking about just putting together a cute outfit. That's why I have this last in my coaching program, because that's not what it's all about. Let's build you up so that, yes, you can put that cute outfit on, but something good is going to come out of it too.
Right. And like, for example, when I first became a speaker and started speaking, I'm actually going to be speaking in Orlando this Saturday at a conference for international educated nurses. But, one thing that I learned, when you become a speaker, you almost have, who does this fabulously is Quinn Conyers. Shout out to Quinn Conyers if she's watching. She's an MC and a speaker. And, she's always colorful, shows up very bright and different, kind of like my style. Back in the day, I wasn't really like this. I was very reserved. It's hard to, like, in high school, I always wore black and gray and like those muted colors and brown. But now that I'm owning myself, I'm a little bit older, stepping into more of like who I am and like what I want to exude, like you said. One of my values is 100% being fun. I'm like, if education isn't fun, business isn't fun, stuff isn't fun, I want no part of it.
Exactly.
This is why, the conference, I'm so excited that you're going to be speaking there. And if you guys are watching and you haven't gotten your tickets to the Nurses Making Business Moves conference, like, it is not like any other conference. It is not just for nurses. There are other female powerhouses that are going to be there because I truly believe nurses need to learn from other industries. Whether you want to grow in your career or grow in business, you need to be in community and you need to be with other powerhouse entrepreneurs and females, right? So, back to my point, for the speaking, I used to wear like these really sparkly Betsy Johnson shoes. And everybody would be like, "Oh, I love your shoes." And it would start a conversation. And they'd be like, "I remember Farrah, like she's going to bring her bling and whatever." So, like, you get known for some of the things that you're wearing. And even if they don't remember your name, they're like, "Oh, I know that speaker. Like, she was wearing those blinged out shoes or whatever." And like you said, it sparks conversation and builds connection,
And
right?
your brand, like every time I always think of this one particular executive when I was working in corporate, there was this
Yeah.
one executive, she had her signature look that was her, it matched her personality. And even if you don't know her name, you know how she's going to show up. That's branding. That's important because that's how someone remembers you for, again, other opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. And really, to touch upon before we end, we got like 5 minutes, right? What does it mean to command a room? And how do people command a room, right? For me, quickly, I'll say one thing that everybody says, whether they meet me virtually or online, I mean, online or in person, they will say, "Farrah, I love your energy."
Mhm.
Okay. So 100% that is the top thing that they will say about me. Even if I'm not even speaking that much, like they'll see me from afar,
Yeah.
and it's like the theme that they always say about me. And that's something that um, I really work on because it is part of my brand, is that filling the room with energy, excitement, and that's what I bring to rooms when I step into these rooms. So how can people work on commanding a room, and what does that mean?
Yeah. So one thing I want to make sure people understand is commanding the room doesn't mean you need to be the loudest, the most bold, the most vibrant person in the room. You don't need to be an extrovert. I am the head chair of Introverts United, okay? I am definitely an introverted person. However, I know how to command the room in the way that feels authentic to me. I'm going to show up dressed nicely. I'm going to show up smiling at everyone and connecting with everyone, making eye contact. I'm going to listen attentively and just, be intentional and supportive and empowering. That's what people get from me, but that doesn't require me to be bold and outspoken and doing all the things, but that's
Yep.
how I command the room. So commanding the room is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about, like you
Mhm.
said, exuding that energy from yourself that aligns with exactly who you are. So you may be someone who's quiet, but guess what? You're very engaging, or
Yeah.
you have a lot of great questions and provide input to the conversation. That could be commanding the room. Commanding the room could be, if you're in a meeting, everyone else is kind of distracted by their cell phones, by their laptops or whatever, but you're the only one who's actually listening and nodding their head and being engaged.
Presence. Yeah.
Exactly. So those are just some examples. It just depends on who you are, but those are examples of how you can command a room that doesn't require you to be someone else. A lot of people say or think command the room means I need to always speak, I need to talk, I need to do this and do that. No, you command the room in your unique way.
Yeah, and that's me. I probably talk too much because I'm all over the place, social butterfly. But then there are events or some places where, maybe I'm not feeling up to it.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more quiet or whatever the case is. But I think really it's like just owning, who you are and feeling comfortable
Yes.
in your own skin. And that's what I say even to people that go to interviews and stuff. I'm like, if you're not comfortable in a suit, and that doesn't make you feel confident, then don't wear a suit, wear a dress or whatever you feel comfortable in, right? So really, I think that's what it is, because like I think people have, whether you're quiet or you don't say anything and you enter a room, regardless of what you're wearing, it doesn't have to be bold or bright or anything. It's literally like the essence of like what you bring, the way you walk,
Yep.
the way your mannerisms. If you're comfortable in your skin and you know who you are, people are literally attracted to you. It's like a magnet because they're like, who is that? Right? You have like this mysterious like thing about you, and that's truly the confidence,
Right.
is the inner work and knowing yourself and being comfortable in your own skin. I think that's really what it is.
It
And
is.
you grow into that. Like the older you are,
Right.
it's funny, right? It's like the super young people are like, this is me. And then the older people are just like, I don't give a damn. Like,
right. But
so,
you know, also too, I would say with the younger people who are just getting started with their careers, like this is a game that I wish I had. If I had this game when I first started my career, whatever industry I was in, I don't know where I would be, but it would have helped prevent a lot of the challenges that I faced. So while yes, this younger generation is like, this is me, I'm very passionate about teaching young professionals the game.
Yeah. So we dropped a lot of game, a lot of gems today. Thank you so much for watching. I didn't get a lot of comments, but I know you guys are probably eating lunch or busy. But if you definitely have any comments or questions, drop them in the chat. And make sure you connect with both of us, connect with us on LinkedIn and other platforms. Also, get your ticket to the Nurses Making Business Moves conference. I will drop the link later so you can come and join us in person and hang out with us. Like I said, Shaquanna Chappelle will be speaking a little bit more on this topic at the conference. So quickly just share where they can find you, and then we will say bye to all the peeps.
Yes, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I am the most. So Shaquanna Chappelle on LinkedIn. And then also you can go to my website to check out all the things I have going on as far as speaking, if you want wardrobe styling, help with executive presence coaching, all of that is on shaquannachappelle.com.
Awesome. And I'll be speaking about branding at the conference. So excited to have you there. So excited that you're going to come through, and we're going to meet in real life. And come hang out with us. It's going to be transformational. And yeah, what are you excited quickly about the most about coming to Tampa for this conference?
I'm just excited about the vibes. I am ready to experience you in person. I am ready to meet. I love meeting people at conferences. You just never know. So I'm just excited to network. Like I'm excited to speak, but I'm excited to get to know everyone who's attending.
Yes. Did you hear that? You never know who you're going to meet, and literally one connection can change your life, can change your career, change your business. So you need to be at the business. What did I say? Nurses Making Business Moves. March 6th and March 7th in Tampa, Florida, so you can hang out with us. All right, that's it for us today. We might come on live again in the next couple of weeks. You don't know. Look out for us. Please connect with Shaquanna, connect with me. Get your ticket today. Get it now because it is going to be sold out. You need to be in the room, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, take care.